Hi, I'm Kat. This is RJ. We live in our bus, Norma Jean. Together, we are cat and dogs on wheels. And welcome to Bombay Beach. Bombay Beach is made up of a community of artists, and I think it's the artists that have kept this town from becoming a ghost town. Right now, the sign says 231 residents. 24 years after a levee broke on the Colorado River, it flooded the Salton Sink. And that's how the town of Bombay Beach and the Salton Sea was born. In the beginning, um, property was bought by seasonal visitors and weekenders where they put their travel trailers on and they came here to play. Then gradually, mobile homes were put in, add-ons. Some of the trailers were turned into homes, and even sticks and bricks homes were built. Starting in the 1950s, the California Fish and Wildlife, Game and Wildlife, whatever that organization is, started stocking the sea with a variety of fish, and it became popular for fishermen from all over. It became a great place to go fishing and a great place to do water sports. So it was visited a lot by movie stars and rich people. People from all over, not just California, came to play on the Salton Sea. Well, in the 1970s, they decided that they needed a lot more infrastructure. Now it's got permanent residents. So water system was put in, sewer system. They even paved the roads. And now businesses were starting to pop up. Now, this part I have to read because I can't remember all these things. Okay. Now, after all the infrastructure and stuff, the town boasted a community center, a park, 2 marinas, 4 bars, a market, a hardware store, a church, arts and crafts store, a motel, and a trailer park. So the town is booming. But in 1976 started the beginning of the end. Hurricane Katrina flooded the sea. The homes and businesses that were on the shoreline were completely flooded, abandoned, and eventually crumbled back into the sea. Now, they did build a berm around the town against the sea so that the rest of the town would survive. But that wasn't the end of the troubles for Bombay Beach, because in the summer they started getting these major algae blooms, which depleted the oxygen to the point of killing off the fish, which in turn killed off the variety of birds that had come to feed there, because now they were feeding on dead fish and getting avian botulism and were also dying. The marinas were no longer functioning. There was only one restaurant left, one bar left. The motel and all the other businesses basically just closed up shop and left. So now the residents are starting to leave in droves, actually. I mean, just leaving the homes, deserting them. And now there were just a very few residents that were still hanging in there and hoping that somehow this town would revive itself. But there were many artists who found Bombay Beach an ideal place to create art and display their art. And this was so the influx of artists added to the population, and it was the beginning of the rebirth of Bombay Beach. In 2015, a group of artists started the biennial Bombay Beach Festival, and it was ended up becoming renowned through the whole world. And it was an art, music, and philosophy festival. And now they're getting a big influx twice a year, biennial, twice a year from these festivals. Suddenly, the town is overflowing with people looking at the art, attending the festival, and so the town is starting to take life again. Which brings us to today. There is one bar, which is also the only place that you can eat out. It's the only place with food. There's one little convenience market. There's a church. There's a community center and a coffee shop. There is one part of the town that's been deserted. The structures are crumbling and they've got graffiti on them. But even in a way, those are artistic. Even the homes of these artists, they've even turned their homes into works of art. Some of the vacant lots are actually owned by artists, and they just put art forms in the vacant lots. They've made a really cool drive-in. So now there's no water play and no fishing. You got to stay out of the water. You got to keep your dogs out of the water. But the sea is still beautiful. And the artists have turned the beach into this really eclectic, wonderful art gallery. The Beach Gallery, which is maintained and added to by the local artists. There are different art projects that are obviously under construction, especially like this one massive display, which I don't even know what it's going to end up being. I personally don't prefer crowds, so I'm not going to be visiting during the festivals, but I'm sure a lot of you would love the art festival. I mean, I would like it, I just wouldn't like the crowds. All the locals are very, very friendly. Um, you can park on the beach, and I'd say maybe a half dozen to 10 people were like us that were visiting. Some of them were parked on the beach. Most of them were parked on the beach. I preferred to park above the beach. For one, I like the view of the whole beach, but also this sign. I don't want to get stuck. So we stayed 3 nights instead of one because I just couldn't tear myself away from this great place. It was just fascinating. I'll definitely visit Bombay Beach again. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you next week, and I'll take you through the California desert as we make our way to the San Bernardino National Forest. Take care.